And we don't just want to, I don't want to just defund it and let them still go on their merry way just because they perhaps wouldn't be able to directly use our tax dollars to kill babies, which they're not supposed to do anyway. It's illegal to use tax dollars for that. But, of course, these are dollars that get mixed in with everything else, and then they get to continue their business of killing babies. So it's not just a matter of U.S. taxpayers, our end of it, defunding it. It needs to be shut down. It is such a sham business, this BS, Kevin, of them touting all the medical services that they provide women and, you know, the free health care and oh gosh, if it weren't for Planned Parenthood, women would have no health care. That's kind of the message they want to send. Wasn't Obamacare supposed to cover all that, and we got stuck with Obamacare, so there's duplication of services right there. But two, they don't provide all these services. They are able to refer out services that a woman would need, like mammograms and all that. They send them somewhere to go get these things done. As for, you know, like the free birth control that they like to advertise that they can provide, there are many, many other places where someone can go to get their free, or heaven forbid they'd actually have to pay for something, but to pay for birth control. It needs to be shut down, not only because it's a sham business and it's immoral, it's unethical, it's disgusting, it's despicable, this butcher shop that we see now that they are, but it reflects the acceptance of a culture that I don't think most Americans agree with. I don't think that we want, I know certainly I don't want this reflection on who we are as a nation, a God-fearing nation, our founders building this country upon our Judeo-Christian beliefs, the values there, certainly not involving killing babies. And the acceptance, though, because people perhaps weren't as aware as they certainly are these past couple of weeks of what Planned Parenthood really is all about, because they deceive people via their high-priced, glossy ads, you know, pretending like they are something else. But as more and more people, their eyes are open to what this is all about, they know that it's not right. And any other business, Kevin, that would be so unethical and immoral and deceiving to, obviously, they're not telling the moms who come in and get an abortion, they're not, I don't think they're telling these moms, oh, by the way, we're going to barter for your baby's internal organs and parts, and we're going to sell those, and we're going to make profit, and then we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Any other company there would be an indictment in the court of public opinion about that business, and it probably wouldn't be able to continue. So why would Planned Parenthood be allowed to be in any business? It's so against what should be America's corporate culture thinking, where we want to believe that our businesses will be built on ethical standards. Planned Parenthood is 180, opposite of that. So not just defunding it, but shutting it down. And I think, it sounds cliche already just a couple weeks later after hearing it for the first time, but I think, what if we were talking not baby parts, but we were talking puppy parts? What if we were talking about a sham business that pretended to be providing veterinarian care for animals, but instead they were butchering animals, bartering the parts, doing all these things that again are deceptive and not letting their quote unquote their customers know, their patients know what's going on. The left would be going ballistic if we were talking about puppies or lion cubs or anything besides babies.
The gun grabbers have been in full force, especially these last 7 years, and you have never wavered when it comes to our right to bear arms, no matter what these concocted polls out of Washington have shown, even though we know they're false 9 out of 10 times. But we really need that amazing right to be strong, because without it, tyranny is a real possibility. I know the governor of New York thinks it's all about hunting, but that's not a surprise either. But the other amendments can't stand without the second, and we have to get the real message of gun rights to people who are being inundated by political spin and a lot of Hollywood propaganda. And you've been just masterful at that, whether it be through social media or just your radio and TV appearances. You've never wavered. It's such an important issue to you, and we appreciate you fighting for that.
Well, I appreciate that. It's just so fundamental, to think that liberals would want to take away the good guys' rights to protect themselves and to protect themselves against some kind of potential tyranny, and to be able to hunt and shoot for sport or anything else. So, it's our right, and it's a guaranteed right. But to think that these liberals believe that the bad guys would obey any law, if they're bound and determined to abuse the right of owning a gun and go harm persons or property, adding more laws to the books, obviously, is not going to stop them. Very fundamental in my life also, though, having grown up, obviously, with my dad and my family, my mom even, growing up around guns, it was just such it's just so commonplace, for them to be used for protection and for hunting. But it has surprised me that, as you point out, not understanding what the Second Amendment is, that they really do think it's just so that some people want to go out and hunt the deer. And, of course, we know what our founders meant, and those further on down the line, including you, fighting so hard to protect that Second Amendment, what the driving motive is there, and that is our right to protect ourselves from tyranny.
Governor Palin, you've been through a lot over the last several years, relentless attacks toward you and your family, and yet here you are smiling, spreading a positive message. How do you do it? Because a lot of people could not have taken what you've endured. I've had the pleasure of interviewing your parents, your brother, Bristol, Todd, your cousin, J.D. Morgan, getting to know everyone over the years. It's clear you have a wonderful family. I'm guessing that makes you a lot stronger. But, you're a better person than most, because I think a lot of people would have either, ran and hid by now or at least punched somebody in the nose a couple of times.
Oh, there's many times I want to punch somebody in the nose. That's for darn sure. But no, I know you relate because you go through it too, being so outspoken and bold. Thankfully, you are. Family, absolutely so much to do with it. They just help me keep everything in perspective. That at the end of the day, for us, especially the immediate family, knowing that Trig, that he's functioning well. He's the light of our life. Anybody can say anything they want to around us, and we get to be hugging our little boy and knowing what really matters. So that's one aspect of it. But being a Christian, I know that God told us through His Word. He said, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And knowing that this is taking some hits. It's to be expected, and at the end of the day, certainly giving it all to God, putting it at the feet of Jesus. We're invited to do that with all of our burdens, with all of our problems, and then He literally lifts them from our shoulders, and then we sleep well, and that's wonderful, and it's refreshing. And I don't know how people do this without Jesus. I don't know why they would want to do this without having faith in God. I'm certainly the most appreciative person in the world that knowing that we have that free gift of His grace and His mercy and His continual assistance in all that we do when we hand it over to Him. But politically speaking, Kevin, you probably feel the same way. If you're not kicking the liberals off somehow, then you might want to try harder, because you may be ineffective if you're not kicking someone off. And like my dad always says, no matter how tough it gets, you don't retreat, you reload, and you utilize what it is that God has put in your life in terms of circumstances, some less than ideal circumstances, but it helps you relate to other people, and any gifts or talents that He has given you, and He has provided all of us everything that we need to seek our destiny and walk in that destiny, and ultimately at the very end, we'll find out that we've fulfilled our destiny if we just keep going. You take those gifts, you take those talents, you give them back to Him with kind of an agreement, I think, saying, okay, God, thank you so much for what you've given me, and just may it be used for your glory. Help me not to screw up too much so that I give you a bad name. Help me to go forth in trying to make the world a better place, all with the drive, the motive of glorifying you, God.